Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we
Live.
got a brand new guest, someone who's never been on the podcast.
First time ever.
First time in the line. We got Brittin Harrison. Brittin, how's it going?
It's going great. Thank you guys for having me. I've been listening to the Quarantine Chronicles for the past couple of days, so I'm excited.
You actually listen to our. Well, you know what? Shocking when people say they actually listen to our stuff. Like, really?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't listen to it until a couple of days ago, but I listened to Andy's episodes, and I listened to Luke's episodes, and then I listened to the Breach versus Ravi episode.
That was a big payoff. That took a lot of planning to do.
Took a lot to get there.
Kudos to you guys for like being so committed to it.
You know, it's kind of the point where, like, Brittin, obviously we've done podcasts, or we've tried to do podcasts in the past, me and you, and they just never end up. And like, even as of like this, a couple of years ago, when I was doing like a podcast with like Luke and Ryan, it's one of those things where if I have to put in a lot of effort to put it together, then I just slowly don't do it. But with this, like, I feel like because over the years, technology has advanced to where we can just record the Skype call, and Justin could just take the Skype call that I'm recording and just throw it up on YouTube. It's like, it is what it is.
Easy. And we record something. We record like a bunch in like a day, or like sometimes Mike has to tell me, "Hey, what are we doing?" Or I have to harass Mike, like, "Mike, we got to record this. I don't care if it's 10 minutes. We're doing it."
Yeah, and whenever you listen to it, it feels like you're in an actual Skype call too, and you want to chime in sometimes, and you're like, "Oh well, shoot."
Yeah, I mean that's all it's been. It's just like whoever's on Skype pretty much at the time. So that's why it's just like, we're not gonna like go above and beyond to like get these big guests or get random guests or people that we really don't know, because it's like we're just talking to our friends, and like I'm sorry if like Britton's one of my longest friends, longest time friends. So it's it's a long time coming. It's been X amount of months. Britton, what have you been doing during the quarantine? How is it down there, by the way?
Texas, I think, got hit pretty hard by COVID, especially Houston. I live about 60 miles south of Houston now. I moved during the quarantine. I lived in Fort Worth in Texas, and now I live in south of Houston now. And it's really weird because this is like a beach town, and it's like we're on a permanent vacation, and I don't know how well that makes me feel, because it's like at one point you're like, okay, when do we go home? But then you're like, okay, this is home now. So it's taking some getting used to.
It's like a never-ending vacation.
Yeah.
Because go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, because like now that you're in Texas, it's kind of like all these years I've known you as being in Arkansas. So like the fact that you're in Texas, and like when you originally moved to Texas, it's like, it's like, oh, Britton's not in Arkansas. It's not the same.
Yeah, and I feel like I had been talking about moving to Texas like as long as you guys had known me before I moved to Texas. Because it was like all the time I was like moving to Texas, and then something would come up, and then okay, now we're moving. But like we finally moved, and it's so much different than Arkansas, and especially like going to Arkansas, like we're going this week in a couple of days, and it's just like I'm from such a small town, and it's so weird to see like all these things that just don't change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you film a video once where you like went back to your hometown and like filmed everything?
Yeah, I did, but I deleted a lot of my videos because
delete or private?
Well, I think I straight up deleted them, but I don't know if I still have that hometown one up.
Thank you. You gotta go with that private.
That was a really fun video to make. I just drove around the entire town and just showed like my middle school, my high school, my first job.
Yeah, I remember watching that.
Brittin, I asked everyone this question. How did you find the YWC? What were you doing? What did you search to find like the wrestling community on YouTube?
I remember looking for, I think it was No Way Out 2008, just like the review of like the results, because of course I didn't pay for the pay-per-view, I don't think. And the first person that I found was this guy Madman Mars 2000, and he would just upload like SmackDown spoilers like in video form, just reading off the spoilers, and I thought he was the coolest guy ever. He had like 1,000 subs, and I became like a fanboy of this guy, and that's how I found more videos through him, like through other people, because I didn't know that like so many people made videos about wrestling. Because it was so cool for me, because nobody that I knew, none of my personal like I hate to say in real life friends, none of them liked wrestling. So whenever I found out that there was actually people that I could converse with and talk about wrestling with, I was like, sign me up.
So who is your main guys besides him? Who's like your main follow?
It's weird because like I was gonna make the videos for a while. I know this is kind of going off track, but like I left for a little bit and then I came back and he wasn't making videos anymore. So when I came back, it was like he was like one of the only people that I watched. And I would watch Ravi and like Legendary Assault. And some of the videos that I made, I remember messaging Ravi and like Legend Killer and a couple of other big YouTubers I don't remember, and I was like, hey, I'm doing tribute videos. Like, do you want me to upload videos of like any wrestler, like just take pictures from Google Images and put copyrighted music in the background?
Heck yeah.
And I think I messaged Ravi, and I think I did Shelton Benjamin for him. I did something for Legend Killer, and then nobody, those didn't catch on, so I didn't do those anymore. But then whenever I came back, it was like, of course, I found Stevie Breach, and through him, I started watching Ravi again, and then I watched Miguel, and I'd watched Miguel's Unwrapping the World Heavyweight Championship video and his shaving cream videos like years before.
Yeah. It's an all-time.
Yeah, I love those videos. Those are some of the first videos that I watched on the YWC, or just the shaving cream videos.
So how did you find that infamous feature of the YWC version 772 video from Chris?
So I think I just saw in my sub box, Chris had like an announcement video. And I remember in the video he was teasing that like he was going to delete his channel. And he was like, do I have
I made that. I made that.
That's like pre-clickbait days. I'm going to change. That's like, I'm closing my channel so you get some views. So people can watch
that was a great promo video that I made, and I thought that was the greatest thing of all time.
And I was I was tuned in. I was hooked. I was like, what's he going to announce? And then wasn't it like another video, or was it in the same video that he announced the return?
It might have been like it might have been in the same video at the end, because that was like, like that was like a big thing, because I remember like talking to everybody, and then like they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna restart this group that we did before, and like Chris was like, and you're gonna be like one of the leaders with me, and I was like, okay, sounds cool, I'll make all these logos and stuff. And I remember my pitch was like I was like the graphics guy, so I was like, oh, I can do whatever you guys want, all the channel graphics, derp. And then I think you were the first person to submit a video for that.
Dude, I wanted to be in that group so bad, you have no idea.
Like, okay, because I don't think it's up anymore. I think I might have it somewhere, but you put I remember specifically, you put the camera on the back of like a truck.
Yeah, so this was at the time where like your parents knowing about making YouTube videos was like the worst thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I took my flip camera and I left my house and I just walked down this little back road, and to my left there was this big empty field and it had like two 18-wheeler trailers on it. So I just hooked the flip camera to the back of it, and that's where I made the audition video. So I was like, I guess this is as good a spot as any.
That was one of those things where it's like, I don't know what it was about your video or about you, but I just like, I specifically remember sending a video to Chris, and it was the first one, and I was like, this guy has to be in. Like, this guy's going to be in. Like,
this is like, oh my god, I need to hire this guy kind of type video.
Yeah, it was like I was
video was so
scouting.
Boring, though.
I don't know what it was about you. It was like, I don't know, this guy just looks like, I think the whole thing was like, he just looks like he's a normal guy. He's not some like, high-pitched voice, like, kid, and like, he's in the bottom of his webcam, and like, he's like, I would like to be in the feature on YWC. Like, I think honestly, the fact that you were outside filming a video, like, to me, it was like, all right, like, this guy, like, gets it, like, he's outside, he doesn't care, he's just filming a video. Like, I was so obsessed with like that idea of like.
I like how you guys were kids making fun of other kids. So you guys all had probably high-pitched voices back then?
Oh, definitely. Oh, 100%. But like, yeah, I was like, yeah, this guy's got to be in it. Chris was like, okay, yeah, whatever, like let's bring him in.
I hate that video so much because like I just get too much information in it. I tell everybody like my life story, and I just go way too in depth. And I have this really thick Southern accent at the time. And
oh yeah,
it's just bad, man.
And like the thing back then, I was like, well, I watched wrestling since 2002. And I've been a fan. I watch every single Raw on SmackDown. That was like a big thing back then. But like, think about this. You know what I'm thinking about? Like, if you don't make that video, like how many, like how, like it's just one of those things where, because of that moment,
different.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You have no idea how different my life would be right now, and I'm not just saying that because like, no, my life would be so different.
Let me connect these dots real quick to kind of tie in Justin. So, in the future, we're going to have a podcast like this. But so I knew, obviously, Andy and Brittin. Andy WWE Legend 619 was the channel. Andy Pillock, big 100,000 subscriber YouTuber.
Influencer.
Yes, one of the big influencers of our generation. Anyway, so it was him and Brittin, and they did. I think Brittin left the Future of the YWC group or something. And you guys started your own YWC Evolution, or something.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, so we were doing the Future of the YWC, and I was under the impression that any video that came from that channel, it had to be a group video, like we're doing now, just people talking on Skype. So I was like, when are we going to make a video? When are we going to make a video? When are we going to make a video? And we never made a video. So I was like, what am I doing here? We're not putting any videos out. So Andy was fed up about it too, and we had YWC Evolution before this, and I think he left his group at that time to come to Future of the YWC, and then of course things didn't work out. So he asked me if I wanted to reform it with him. And we got Blueprint 1317 over there with us, and we were ready to take charge. It was going to be an invasion, but we got the payoff.
It was a big time invasion. It was WCW, NWO type stuff where it's hey, we're leaving this company, we're going to the other. But so here's the thing, so you guys were you and Andy would talk a lot, and you'd be in Skype calls, and one day I was on Skype and you guys added me to a call, and it was Andy, it was you, Brittin, and then it was this guy, this RKO the infamous NWO guy, who I only knew because he was in Chris's intro.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so the thing is, if Brittin, if you don't make that video on the back of that truck, and then you don't turn heel on the Future YWC to go with Andy to do your own group. And then so how, Justin, Brittin, how did you guys you know what I mean? How did you guys get in contact with each other? And Andy too.
It has to be Andy messaged me. Andy was friends definitely with both of us. Andy probably messaged me one day, was like, "Oh, what's your Skype?" And I was like, "Oh, here you go." Because back then I used to give my Skype in my description of my video, add me on Skype, YouTube, Skype. Yeah. I mean, sorry, Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Add me on Skype. And I think at one point I even had my Xbox Live name in my YouTube user description, so everyone could add me. I didn't care. I would talk to anybody about wrestling. So one day I talked to Andy, and I knew he lived in an hour away from me. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna add my friend Brittin," and I can't remember his other friend he used to add. I don't know, Brittin. You remember him? One of his friends he lives near.
Akash.
Yeah.
There's a little kid named Akash, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So just and then randomly, I think Andy added you, and that's how we all joined together. That's how I remember it.
That's, pretty much how I remember it, because I was telling Pico earlier, I forgot that, we had those calls there for a little while, and I remember listening to Andy's video, and it was wow, it brought back all those memories. That, that's crazy that it goes back that far.
Yeah.
Probably 2012. 2013-ish.
Yeah, it was
into 2011.
Really? That early?
I think you guys started it, yeah.
I remember he was doing that video where it was him and Cody, and he met you and Ravi at, what was it, a Bret Hart signing?
Yeah, that was March 2012.
It was right before that.
Oh, wow.
I remember you guys were talking about it on Skype.
because I remember like me and Justin like talked for a little bit in like the calls like with all of us, and then I think I messaged you on Skype, Justin, like a couple days before I found out you were going to, or a couple days after I found out you were going to Extreme Rules. I was like, oh, like when I see you, I'm gonna yell, "RKO the infamous NWO, ha ha ha!" And you were like, "Oh yeah, that'd be so funny." And then like the rest is history. But
And then he
I don't
yells
know.
it, and then I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, right.
So Brittin, like that, I do. Anyway,
Like that?
Then 8 years later, I'm sleeping in his spare bedroom going to
Yeah.
Revolution. But
that'll be what's it called. Like we need Andy, Brittin, and Justin, and myself on a trip so we can that's the
just
the
come to
OG
Canada.
four.
Two out of four of us already here.
That's true. Yeah. But Brittin, okay, so here's another thing. So not really fast forward to 2012, but okay. So your favorite wrestler is Chris Jericho. I feel like that was used to be, at the time your favorite wrestler was Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
All these video packages are leading to like January 2nd or something of 2012.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it happens to be where?
Memphis, Tennessee, which is about 3 hours away from my hometown in Sheridan. And we had an aunt that lived in Memphis, so we were like, why not? I begged for those tickets for Christmas.
And the rest is history. I mean,
yeah.
This video, like,
I remember this live reaction video when he's like
yes.
screaming on the top of his
lungs.
Oh my god!
Y2J, Y2J.
Doesn't it the camera pan out and you can see yourself like in the crowd for like a second too?
Yeah.
I never pointed it to myself, but you can see the people in front of me are just like they don't care. They're just like whatever. But then here's this 16-year-old behind you, just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, that was an incredible video. Let me tell you. I mean, like, like, everybody has that one video that like everybody remembers, and like I'll never forget that video. Like that was, like anytime I see Jericho on TV, like I think of that video. You know what I mean?
And
do you still have the same passion for Jericho now?
Well, I mean, for a while I did, and then I got to meet him in 2014, and that was really cool. But he just it's just become one of those that I can't stand to. I just don't like the guy anymore. There's just the things that he does and says. It's just like there's a lot to go into that I won't be all long-winded about, but I just don't like him anymore at all.
When was the first time you remember watching wrestling?
Oh, I remember my grandpa really likes it, and he was into it before I was, and he was watching SmackDown one time, and Stone Cold was singing "Kumbaya." That's my earliest memory.
Oh my God, 2001 SmackDown.
But I didn't get into it until like 2007.
Okay. You're a big SmackDown versus Raw 2007 guy, right?
2006, yeah.
6, 7, whatever it is. Yeah.
It's the best wrestling game of all time.
Yeah, that's how I got into it. Was I got the PS2 and then I bought that game with it because that the Benoit stuff had kind of happened around that time.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my friends were talking about it, and I was like, whenever I picked the game up, I was like, I wonder if it's Benoit guys in
it. So you telling me Chris Benoit unintentionally got you into wrestling?
I mean, when you think about it, yeah.
Wow.
Then I heard him talk about Raw and USA, and I just tuned into Raw one night.
So do you pay attention to wrestling much anymore?
Well, we've been watching Raw in my house for the past few weeks, actually, because we have the actual TV now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really watch AEW. The last Dynamite I watched was right before they did Chris Jericho versus Scorpio Sky.
Okay.
But WWE right now it's nothing crazy. I hope Randy Orton beats Drew McIntyre. Raw Underground I hope is okay. I hope this Retribution stuff is decent. That's all you can really hope for.
I mean, you said all those things, and like I know the Underground stuff, I know the Retribution guy, but like I don't know anything else in the wrestling world.
What are you talking about? Okay, that's a lie because
What do you mean?
fucking Mike texted me the day after the last Tuesday and was like Rollins versus Dominic over under 5 stars.
Well, yeah,
I'm like,
I forgot about that.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what?
yeah. I don't know. They announced it, and I was like, the fact that it's happening. Brittin, they're having Dominic versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam.
That's
Like,
crazy.
that was the pay-per-view, you know?
Yeah.
And you
15
said
years
over
later.
under 5 stars. How is that matching me 5?
That was a joke. It was a joke.
I thought you were being serious. I'm like, what is this idiot texting me like so early in the morning about this for?
And it was definitely a joke because I figured, we'll watch it and it'll just be like so preposterous
Did
that
I seriously texted you 3 stars as like an honest answer. Like it's just gonna be an average match.
yeah.
I mean, Dominic does a pretty decent 619. I don't know.
No, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying that like I don't know. It's first showing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but so Brittin, you kind of don't. Well, I don't think you make any videos anymore, right?
No, I haven't made a video in a couple of years.
But what kind of made you like stop?
I mean, I've always wanted to make them. I still do want to make them. It's just I don't get the views.
Okay, it's all about
I don't. No one gets the views. I don't get the views. Breaches. No one Bradley barely gets views. He cracks 1,000. He's like has 30,000 subs.
I mean, even if I was getting like 30, 40 views, that'd be fine. But like, I don't get any.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, what's the point?
I feel like making videos now, it's like you're starting back from scratch essentially.
Yeah.
You're starting back from zero.
You just kind of have to go for it. Because I mean, I know like old channels, like don't get the attention as a brand new channel. You know what I mean? So that's the only bad thing.
This is something I've always wanted to do because like I love making videos and like obviously I've wanted to make a career. Sometimes I've wanted to make a career in like radio and television broadcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's the best way to get experience. But I don't know. Maybe I'll find some stuff to talk about.
I mean, you gotta start somewhere, Luckily now, like stuff is so easy to have. Like there's like you can record a podcast from your phone nowadays. So it's like you gotta check out Anchor. That's what's it called? That's the place where you can like do it on your phone and edit it and stuff like that. If you want to start a podcast and it goes to iTunes and Spotify and you can do ads and whatnot. So
I was doing a podcast and I feel bad because like Griff and I were gonna do the YWC football talk and I was on the first episode and I mean I didn't think it was. I feel bad because like I kind of left him high and dry. And Griff, if you're listening to this, that wasn't my intention. It's just like Griff was so committed to it, and like I didn't match that commitment, and I felt like, and he knows like a lot about football too, like more than I do.
Oh man!
So like I felt lost.
I've watched games with Griff, and Griff recites the players' names as they come out. Like when they do the names on the schools and everything.
Yeah.
Griff's in front of the TV doing that, and I laugh. I pop every time. Like Griff, how do you remember all this? Because Griff has photographic memory, but uses it for every sports anything ever. Yeah. Like Griff could be like a genius, but he uses it for sports facts. I tell him this all the time. Not like he doesn't know this.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I'm so underqualified for this, and I felt like I was just looking dumb on there. And then there were other things, but I'd really love to do one just about like movies and wrestling, and just like shoot the shit, like you guys are doing.
That's all we do. Yeah.
I feel like Mike was kind of half because I was like, Mike, we're doing this every day, and he was like, you're in it, and then you're out of it. You're like, we're not gonna do this every day. I'm like, no, Mike, we're doing this every day, and then now we just do it every day.
I'm like,
it's never too late to bring back the Brittin Harrison show.
Dude, I mean that like let's be honest, like I'm in, like sign me up for the Brittin Harrison show. I'll listen to that. Like even Miguel does a podcast now. Like I'll send you the link to Anchor. I mean, it's really easy. Like you can do it on your phone if you need to. You can put it to all the platforms.
It's tough doing a solo podcast, and I don't understand like how Solid Monster does it like 3 hours every episode. But like, kudos to him, man.
Also, you gotta think too. Like, you're gonna start from nowhere. Imagine Andy told us 2 years ago he's into a K-pop channel. We'd be laughing at him.
True.
Look at him now. You know. I'm like, you and K-pop doesn't make any sense. And now he's like, gonna be like doing meet and greets one day.
When I saw that was the theme of his channel, I was like really? Because I just saw like the hockey and the sports videos, and like it just came out of nowhere.
I mean, the hockey videos, he's not as popular as the K-pop channel, but he still pulls views and people watch him.
That's good. I mean, in the videos I've watched a couple of his videos, like he puts out really good stuff. I don't obviously know about K-pop, and I can't agree or disagree with his opinions, but like his production and like his videos are really good. So I'm proud of him. He's like the first really good friend that I ever made online. So I'm really, really happy for him.
First person I know that's gotten a plaque, you know?
Yeah.
Even though it's not the original plaque. But so winding down here, Brittin, I got to ask you because today you're going to think that this is going one way, but it's going to go the other way. So today I got like a box of football cards, and in it was a Des Bryant rookie card. So I got to ask, do you think football's going to happen this year?
Well, doesn't look like college football is going to happen, and I can't blame them if they don't, because there's a lot of reasons going into that. But when it comes to NFL, I mean, they're doing okay with the NBA, but I don't know if they could do like an NFL bubble. I don't know how they would make that work.
There's just so many people, though.
I just don't see logically, and it's a contact sport. Logically, I don't see how it could happen. I wish it could. I think this would be a great season. I think when all these college divisions start announcing that they're canceling their seasons, NFL's going to follow suit, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. It just sucks because like they had so much time. Roger Goodell is a worthless piece of trash. Like they had so much time to look at what everybody else was doing and learn from it. And what do? They put it off till next week, and then they put it off till next week, and then like, we got some time, and now it's like, we got until until September, and now it's like, what are we supposed to do? You know what I mean? They could have done something.
They could have, but as long as all the players stay safe, I know that's cheesy, but I mean, as long as everybody involved stays safe, because we don't need a big spread just because of that. Just because we need sports, we can go a little bit longer without them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather not have them this year than not have them the next 5 or 10.
That's true. That's a good point.
I think it's gonna happen. I think there's too much money on the line for it not to happen.
I feel like they'll do what baseball's doing, where the baseball's like they're doing it, but like the Cardinals are getting sick and Marlins are getting sick and Cardinals haven't played in months and they're whatever. Like it's like a big disaster. Like that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a train wreck, but they're gonna do it. I think
they're gonna run it, try to make as much money as they can until they can't.
But then what happens if like one team has an outbreak and they have to miss like weeks 9 and 10? And then at the end of the season, they've only played they upped it to 17 games now, and they've only played 15 games.
Mm-hmm.
They're behind everybody, so I mean, I don't see how that factor. I just don't.
Yeah,
there's a lot that goes into it.
I don't know what to say, but Brittin, we'll have to bring you on for more. Talk about different wrestling shows and whatnot, and all that fun stuff.
And, it's been fun. I mean. Hold on. Sorry, I cut out.
That's okay. I was like, what happened there? Yeah, I don't know. But that's going to be it. Oh, the fact that this is like, like the chain of events that happened all because you uploaded that video on the truck.
Yeah. It changed my life. All my best friends have all come from online, and the friends that I have now, like that's a whole nother story about like future of the YWC and all that, and like how that all kind of got mixed in, and the friends that I made from there, and like the original versions, and but it's crazy. It changed my life, and I'm glad I made it. So yeah.
And that's it. So
we're out of here.
We'll talk to you
tomorrow
in the next one.